Hello and welcome to Food for Thought. This is the 100-day National Nightmare Retrospective episode. What else could it be? Yesterday, he hit the 100-day in office mark. And so I thought we would spend a little time today looking back on these 100 days and what he's accomplished. So you want to talk about what he's accomplished? We can go there first. What has he accomplished?
I think that about covers it.
Yeah, I mean, I will go in a little later about how he got his Supreme Court judge, got his pick placed on the Supreme Court, but they had to use the nuclear method in order to get that to happen. So anyhow, this upcoming week, let's reflect on the 100-day national nightmare. So here we are at 100 days. Let's talk about the pros and cons. Pros. We're actually still here to talk about it. That's a really big pro, wouldn't you say?
Well, it's a good start. I'm not sure how long it's going to last.
Right. Here's a con. He's still in office. He's still the president. That's a con.
Don the con.
Don the con is still president. Okay. At 100 days, Trump has the lowest approval rating of any president in modern times.
I'd drink to that.
Let's make that even clearer. Nobody has been more disliked since Nixon. That's kind of big. That kind of says it all. Since Tricky Dicky. Remember Tricky Dicky?
I was there.
And Watergate. Hey, they never wrote any Watergate songs, did they?
Yeah, it wasn't well, no, not really. I mean, there were songs with it in there, but not specifically about it.
Yeah, nothing like with the title Watergate. However, there's already been several songs written about Trump and his administration within this first 100 days. As a matter of fact, there was probably songs written before he even got elected. Anyhow, let's talk a minute about Ivanka Trump. So she now has an official title. She has an office in the West Wing, and she took a little trip to Germany. Angela Merkel, Angela, as some people call her, yet it's spelled Angela, invited her because I guess she was very cordial to her. And let's face it, Merkel would rather have Ivanka come to Germany than Trump any day of the week. But anyhow, while she was speaking, she got booed and hissed. Now, I didn't actually hear the hissing. Did you hear the hissing? Well, yeah, they kept talking about her being booed and hissed, but I was like, hissed? Okay, whatever. But anyhow, she got booed and hissed by the women in Germany. I think that was pretty interesting. I also think that they were letting her know how they feel about her daddy. What do you think?
No, if they wanted to let her know how they felt about her daddy, I think they'd have been a little stronger.
What else could they have done to her other than, throw tomatoes?
Yeah, bitch slap her, hit her upside the head with one of those nice thick German beer bottles.
Yeah, and that's that dark imported beer. Or I guess there it wouldn't be imported. It would just be beer.
Yeah.
It would just be beer. Okay, so anyhow, Mike Flynn has broken the law. Should we all start chanting, lock him up, lock him up, lock him up? What a piece of crap this guy is. Now, remember, he's the one that on the campaign trail, he was the one, hooting and cheering and actually leading the chants for the American people to lock somebody else up. And I'm not going to say her name because I'm not going to give him that credit. But I do think that all Americans should be running around saying about Mike Flynn right now, lock him up, lock him up, lock him up. Because he broke not just one law, he broke like 3 or 4. And let's hopefully see an indictment. Hopefully we will see an indictment this week on him because he needs to be indicted.
They need to put him in front of a firing squad and go lock and load.
I don't know that they will, but I have a big, huge feeling that this man has created. This man has.
You have
committed
a huge feeling?
A huge. I did that on purpose. Only I know how to spell it correctly. With a H, not a Y. But I have a feeling he has committed treason, and I have a feeling we're all going to find that out, along with several other people that have worked closely with Trump, if not Trump himself. All right, so I did a piece on the Daily Banner this week talking about my own experience with hives and Trump. I asked if anybody else was experiencing health issues because of the stress that his presidency is causing. The response was bigger than I anticipated. There was some very sad posts, in fact.
So you had a huge response.
I had an absolutely huge response. I think there was more than 70 people actually commented on this, talking about their own health issues since the election. And on top of, I mean, there are people that are actually fearing for their life, people who right now are battling cancer, and without the Affordable Care Act, and if we lose pre-existing conditions, this new Health Care Act will essentially be their death warrant. That's exactly what it'll be. There's no cutting it, dicing it, and slicing it, and making it sweet. There's no sugarcoating that. If they eliminate pre-existing conditions from whatever new Health Care Act they come up with, they will be killing people as sure as walking into their house with a gun and pulling a trigger. That's just the truth. Okay, so how long are these Russian investigations going to take? What do you think? Should we all start taking bets, like when people, like we can come up with a date, like when people are pregnant, at what day do you think she's actually going to give birth? Or, I don't know, bets like football games or...
Yeah, I think we should do one of those poll things where, you put like $5 down on a specific date, and whoever gets the date gets the money.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be a good way for somebody to make a nice little windfall.
Yeah, it really would. Maybe we can put that together somehow. I have to.
It's probably illegal. It's probably like, although I don't know.
Well, it
with Trump, doesn't matter.
In Trump's America, anything goes. Anything goes. You can say what you want. You can do what you want. You don't have to obey any laws because it's Trump's America and anything goes.
Well, we have fake news. Now we have a fake president.
Right. Well, we did see, that this last week, Fox News had to get rid of O'Reilly. And now the guy that they replaced him with, you heard about this, right? They replaced him with this, I guess you would consider a youngster compared to O'Reilly, his protege.
I'm 61.
Everybody's,
I would have been a youngster.
Anyhow, no, this guy's, I guess, in his 30s. I don't even know his name. I think it might be Mark, but I could be wrong. And he comes and they were talking about Ivanka and her in Germany and stuff. And basically what this guy says is it doesn't really matter what she says or what happened to her there because she knows how to basically work a mic. And then he said it wasn't sexual innuendo when it clearly was. So he has learned from O'Reilly. And then, ironically, the very next day, he comes on the air to tell people... And he just took over. Now, keep in mind, he just took over the time spot for O'Reilly, and he comes on the air. Or I don't know, they may have moved somebody else into O'Reilly, and then he took that guy's place. But ironically, he comes on the air and says, "Oh, I'll be taking a vacation this week. I'll see you on Monday." So now everybody's going to wait to see if this guy returns tomorrow because it's everybody's guess that he's gone. that he was on the air for like a week and that he's gone. But we'll find that out tomorrow.
And I don't think anybody gives a crap.
Well, yeah, because the one real fake news organization in America is Fox News. That is the fake news. So if you want to talk about fake news, that would be Fox News, which is very close to, fake, Fox, very close. They might as well just call themselves fake news.
Well, if you spell it F-A-U-X.
That's right.
It's phone news.
That's right. That's true. Anyhow, if you want to go check out the piece that I did on the Daily Banner, go to www.thedailybanner.com. And the title was something like, "Are you getting hives from Donald Trump being president like I am?" And I heard that. Read some of those comments and you'll see what I mean about sadness. And if you're experiencing any kind of physical ailments because of this presidency, make sure to go to the bottom of the article and type in the comments. They will be published. Everybody will be there to read what you're feeling.
Maybe your next article should be, "Are you staying high during the Donald Trump?"
Yeah, I know. How stoned do you have to be to survive this presidency? That's a good one. How stoned do you have to be to survive this presidency? Okay, so Trump plans on going after the Affordable Care Act again. I know we just talked about that, but it's in my bullet points, so I'm bringing it up as I go down my list. And it looks like all the activists out there better get into their huddles and start planning more walks and marches because it looks like it's going to happen, and it looks like they're amping it up this week. So I think that all of us protectors of healthcare need to amp up our activity this week as well. Okay, so I said I was going to talk about the Supreme Court Judge Neil Gorsuch. So he's now the newest member of the Supreme Court. Keep in mind that was not an accomplishment. Somebody was going to do it. However, it should have been Obama last year when he had nominated his pick, who then waited for a year and never even got a hearing. Not
So
one hearing.
he's the new member. Does that make him the new tool?
He is. He's very conservative. They want him in. They really are back to trying to roll back Roe versus Wade. They want to make abortions illegal, which will just cause women to go back into wherever, basements, to have abortions, because when you can't have a baby for whatever the reason, you can't have a baby, and all it's going to do is make people sick and die. It's not going to help anybody. And again, people need to understand that there's a very big difference between being pro-choice and pro-abortion. Nobody that's pro-choice is pro-abortion. As a matter of fact, I don't know anybody that is pro-abortion. I don't know one single person that thinks that abortion is a good thing or that likes abortion. I really don't. Abortion and having to have one is a horrible, horrible thing. And it's a horrible thing to be in that situation, and it's a horrible thing to have to make that decision. They're very different things. Pro-choice is just having the right to make that decision. That's all. That's what pro-choice is. I am pro-choice. I am not pro-abortion. And I want to make that clear to everybody out there. Okay, so North Korea is testing missiles continuously. Not just here or there. Continuously since Donald Trump became president. I think it's like 10 now. He's tested 10 missiles since the inauguration. It's obvious that nobody over there is afraid of Donald Trump or his rhetoric. How are you feeling about that whole North Korea thing?
I really can't say because I'd have to edit it out anyways. But I think that it's too little too late, or too much too late, depending on how you look at it. I mean, I think this all should have, he needs to shut his mouth, both of them. Both North Korea and our so-called faux president need to shut their mouths and take care of their own countries and not worry about what the rest of the world is doing. Because we shouldn't be the ones telling them what they can and can't do, and they shouldn't be trying to tell us what we can and can't do. You know, you have your own country, you run it.
Nobody should be threatening anybody.
You have your own home, you run your own home, and you don't go to your neighbors and say, I think maybe you should turn off your lights at 6 in the evening because we need to save electricity. You don't go to your neighbor and try to do that, or run across town and tell people how to do this or that. Just live and let live.
I agree. I heard this morning, though, that some of the things that he was saying, and they're talking about this THAAD, which is it's an anti-missile device that we were supposedly giving to South Korea to help protect them against North Korea. They have elections this week, and he said things that are pissing off the people of South Korea. Trump said things this week which are going to push them to electing a man who looks like he wants to defect to North Korea. So if that happens and he gets elected and South Korea becomes part of North Korea, and it's just what, Korea? Then it just becomes Korea. Then there's gonna be even more problems. So I heard that this morning. Hadn't heard that before. That was news today for me, and I didn't like what I heard. I didn't like hearing it because it frightened me. Yesterday on his 100th day, people took to the streets to protest rolling back EPA standards. Trump rolling back EPA standards and guidelines, pretty much making it a free-for-all for companies that can make lots of money while killing Mother Earth. How does he not get that? How does he not understand that rolling back all of these guidelines, all this does is pollute the world. It pollutes the atmosphere. It pollutes the water. How does he not understand that?
Well, when the earth is no longer a viable place to live, they'll have to figure that you can't eat and breathe and drink money.
Yeah, I wrote a line here which says, greed is worthless when there is no life. And that's what's going to happen. That's the end result. I want to mention that Little River Band has a song on their new box set. They just released a brand new box set called The Big Box, and the song is Clean the Water, and it's really a very thought-provoking song. You can hear that song on YouTube. You just type in Little River Band Clean the Water, and a music or a slideshow of some of the problems we have with in our waters comes up. So it really illustrates what's going on in our earth that people are not aware of, or I don't know. I don't want to say that people just don't care, because I do believe people care. Yesterday's march showed that there are plenty of people that care. As a matter of fact, Leonardo DiCaprio led the march in Washington, D.C. yesterday. And it was kind of, I wouldn't call it weird or funny, but when the media went up to him to interview him about it, he didn't want to give an interview. He just wanted to march. He just wanted to be one of everybody else. He wanted to be like everybody else, and he just wanted to march. You know, he didn't want to make, it wasn't about him, and he didn't want to make it about him. And I really respect him for that. Okay, so last night was the Washington Correspondents' dinner. Trump refused to go, and instead threw yet another rally in Pennsylvania where he proceeded to make fun of the media. So that's where he went. He went off to his own rally, being paid for, I guess, by the Republican Party. They're also saying it was a huge rally when I'm hearing that there were many empty seats.
Well, I think somebody needs to tell Trump the election's over. He needs to do his freaking job and not worry about going off and patting himself on the back.
And that's what he did. He was off patting himself on the back. I want to point out, and I really do hope sometimes that Trump supporters watch what I'm, my little show.
They won't get it anyway. Most of them are too stupid.
Well, this is what I want to say. And I wrote this because it's an observation that I've made over the last couple of months. Trump talks like a fourth grader, and he speaks to his supporters like they're fourth graders.
I think you need to stop degrading fourth graders. More like second grade.
Why don't they realize that he speaks to them like they're children? Now, do I know whether or not he's capable of speaking with any more intelligence than he currently does? At one time, he could. I can tell you that I'm 56 years old, and I have known of him since I was 10 years old. I was, born and raised in New York. I know all about Donald Trump.
Really? You'd never tell from that accent.
Way too much. And he used to speak with more intelligence than he does today. So I don't know if he's intentionally, if he's just, in the early stages of dementia, because he is 70 for crying out loud. And who knows what kind of things he's done and seen and used in his life.
Well, if you look at history repeats itself, and people are probably going to complain about this statement, but history does repeat itself, and if you don't pay attention to history, you're doomed to repeat it. But some of the most notorious people in history started out being very intelligent and ended up not being so intelligent because of a venereal disease called syphilis. Al Capone lost his entire empire due to that. Adolf Hitler, who could have ruled the world, did not, because he was taken over by the same disease. Now, I'm not saying that Donald Trump has syphilis.
But has he been checked?
But
has anybody given this man a medical exam?
He's supposed to have it in order to be president.
You would think.
But you know what? I think if they gave him he probably didn't show up.
And I know Barack said that, he was talking at the end of his presidency. He was talking about the beginning of his presidency. And when he first entered the White House, he was talking about the cooks and how they were spoiling him, making all his favorite foods and stuff. And he said at his 3-month or around his 100-day mark, he had blood work done and his cholesterol had gone up. And he was like, wow, what's that from? And then he realized it was all the pie he was eating because he was being spoiled with all this pie. And then he realized, I really can't do that. Is anybody taking Donald Trump's blood? Is anybody testing this man?
No, he's taking our blood.
Yeah, that's true. I can't believe that he doesn't have high cholesterol. I mean, he's 70 years old. He's overweight. And he takes pills to grow the hair on his head.
Okay, he's not overweight. He's obese. He's morbidly obese.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Yeah, but he thinks he's perfect.
Yeah, well.
So anyhow, I watched the Correspondents' dinner last night. It was inspiring. I saw sound bites of Trump's speech. Moronic, as usual. Why does the man who is supposed to be president to all the people continue to divide the country? Why does he do that? He goes out and he speaks to his base, but yet there's never been a moment other than when people say that he addressed Congress that night, which I thought that was a lousy speech. I know some people thought it was good, but I didn't. But anyhow, why is he constantly dividing people? Why is he not trying to bring his country together? It's supposed to be his country. He's supposed to be president.
Because if you misdirect people and tell them something they can't believe, they look elsewhere for the truth. So if he's not giving the truth and he's telling people what he wants them to hear, eventually they either believe it or they're going to spend their time chasing whatever it is to the point that they don't know it's been so convoluted that he can get away with whatever he wants because nobody's paying attention. They're just tired of listening to it.
Yeah, well, I'm tired of listening to him, that's for sure. All right, so Barack Obama came back into the public eye this week. I watched his speech with the college kids in Chicago. It was refreshing to hear someone speak in full sentences again. I enjoyed that. I really did. Okay, who thinks Democrats need to get a good-looking, smart, and endearing candidate on the ticket for 2020?
I'll take it.
No, seriously, what about The Rock? People keep talking about The Rock. What do you think? The Rock for president?
While I like him as a personality, I don't think we need.
What about Mark Cuban?
I don't think we need a politician. People don't like politicians, but you know what? Politicians do their jobs. It's just like you don't hire a plumber to give you a bypass. You don't hire somebody in business or entertainment to run a country because they can kill you if they make the wrong move. The same idea of getting a plumber to do your bypass. If he screws it up, oh well.
Well, I agree with that, except for I think that the mentality, everything's about populist. You know, if you're popular, and it's all about populist. And I know that, you know, in the last election, it was when they go low, we go high. That didn't work. So we have to at least probably go equal, and equal or better. You know, so Mark Cuban is good looking. He's smart. He's a billionaire, and everybody loves him from Shark Tank. Oh, and he also owns that basketball, what?
Sports team.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what it is. That's terrible. But he owns a sports team in, I believe, Texas. So why not? Why not Mark Cuban? Mark, if you're listening, you think about it. Seriously, dude, I think that you'd be excellent because, number one, you're responsible, you're respectful, you're a grown-up. Why not? Anyhow, I have one more question. What happened to the damn impeachment?
I think it got stuck in Georgia next to the impeachment tree.
That's where, that's very good. It's hanging from an impeachment tree in Georgia somewhere, right? Okay, well, I'm going to wrap it up. That's it for now, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Food for Thought. Please leave your comments and thoughts below, and I will respond to them. Even if you want to tell me, go away, we can't stand you, I don't care. You can say that. You can say whatever you want. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me you like me. Tell me you like listening to what I have to say. Or tell me to go away. Whatever you want to say, I'm here.
Tell me you like the producer.
Yeah, or you can say you like the producer or the director. Thanks again. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Track Studio.